Hey, it's time for a Rebel wrap-up on FYNTV.com, and we're at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. We want to first thank Blue Jeans Pizza over here. They provide a pizza for the players and the coach every Wednesday night here. Again, Circuit World in Blue Ridge. I'm here with head coach Jim Pavo. Also have with me tonight our guest, left guard Hunter Davis, defensive end Wesley Lim, and tight end Jacob Reese. Now, just a little bit of an update before we start talking with coach and the players. We're talking 3A Region 7 football, high school football. The Fannin Rebels are 1-2 on the season, coming off a pretty tough loss to Chastity, 47-30. And this Friday night, they'll be traveling over to Andrews. That's Andrews, North Carolina, at 7:30 to take on the Wildcats. I think that's the Andrews Wildcats. Coach, I guess I'll just let you start. Okay. Where you want to start with it? I've been thinking this week because I will say this: a lot of yellow flags were laying on the ground.
And that's where I was going to go to. Coach Pierce and I was sitting around talking about this. Looking at film and looking at it over and over and over again Sunday, and then we continue to look at it, and we're looking at a play here and a play there, and like for instance, we got Brad had a long run, about 75, 80-yard run. We get a call back. We don't end up scoring, there when he had scored already. So there's 7 points. We had another penalty that gave them a first down on a 3rd and long. They would have been punting, and gave them a first down. They scored. There's 14-point difference, and on and on. We had 2 or 3 other opportunities where points were either won or lost. Won by them, lost by us. Because of penalties. And then obviously we had another situation where we had a fumble recovery deep in their area, in their end. We had it, we lost it. They got it back on that 30-yard line. They took it on down and scored. There's another 7 points. So, we've got to clean up, some of these mistakes that we're making. And the thing about it is we look at it and say we're a play here or a play there away from beating, a 4A school. And so I'm not saying there's moral victories, but there's one of those things you just say, guys, we just got to clean those things up, and we can beat a team like that, And same thing the week before, we just if you clean some things. If you want to beat a good team, you've got to play. I don't want to say flawless, but you got to minimize your mistakes. Penalties, number one. If you're having physical mistakes or mental breakdowns, those hurt you. Penalties kill you. They just put you behind the chains offensively, or they extend drives when you're on defense, or take points away from you on offense. So we've got to clean that up if we expect to beat good football teams.
Well, guys, let's go to you for a minute because you guys, what how many years you been on the team?
4.
4 years. How many years you been on the team?
2.
2. How many?
2.
2. But even if you've been here the second year, we've talked about this in the past. This is the year where you have to finish, right? I mean, you can't be a play away, right? I mean, would you agree? You can't be a play away because you've been there 4 years and you've been there 2 years, and you guys know from last year being there that a lot of the games was a play away, and you get ready to go in region ball. On defensive side, I mean, what are you guys talking about? I mean, you look up the scoreboard, there's 47 points up there. What are you guys talking about on the defense this past week?
We talk about watching the ball. We need to, whenever it's coming down with 4th and maybe 3, we always talk about watching the ball, trying not to get off sides. We try to make sure we do our job. But, that's the most important thing. We need to do our objective. And then, if we don't do our job, they're probably going to score.
What about the penalties? What do you say? What about the number of penalties? Brad, long run. A lot of penalties took place. What do you say about that there, Hunter?
There was just mistakes that need to be cleaned up. We need to work on them.
You need to work on them?
Mm-hmm.
You been helping them work on them this week?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We've got to, we've got to keep on. We've got to keep.
Can you zero in over here on that question?
We've got to focus on that, and guys have got to understand they got to play hard, but they've got to, they got to take away, silly penalties.
Well, obviously football is an emotional sport, and you get out there and you want to get pumped up, but you got to play between the lines and on the field, and when between the whistle, right? So those kind of plays. Talk a little bit about that game and what you got to do this week and what you've been working on this week.
Well, we all got to do our job, like you said. if we don't do our job, then our defense can. The defense is going to allow points, but we have to score more than their offense. They score 49, we got to score 50, and that's our mentality. Is we got to score more than they do.
Well, let me just look at one of a couple of the quick stats here. On the offense, Davis throws for 355 yards, and when you throw for 355 yards and you rush for 162, you need to come away with the W, don't you, Coach?
Yeah, and really, like we're talking about, if you take away situations where we're shooting ourselves in the foot, you kind of you sit there, you have almost 500 yards of total offense. You kind of figuring that you're going to win the thing, but when you probably have 150 yards in penalties, that takes you from 500 yards offense back to 350. So we've got to and not to count, not that also it's a 50 yards in penalty, but you're taking away a 15-yard penalty sometimes could negate 50-yard game. So it's really it sounds like in the book it looks like it's a 15-yard penalty, but really it might be a 65-yard penalty.
Right.
So
right.
We could have had offense. We might have had 550 or 600 yards offense if we had cut down on a lot of these penalties. And a number of them are situations where we've just they're non-necessary penalties. I mean, sometimes you do things and you get a penalty and you fight. You might get a holding penalty or something like that as an offensive lineman. You're just fighting for your life,
Right.
But other things you need to clean those things up, and of course you need to clean that up too. But the main thing we've got to do is understand that penalties just kill you, and we are an explosive offense. We've got a lot of playmakers on offense. We've got we play well in the offensive line. We play good at all the skill position plays, and we can score 45 and 50 points. We believe that. Defensively, we've got to continue to improve. We've got some guys hurt right now. Well, guys are stepping in there and playing hard, and we've got to do on the same thing. We'll play. I talk to coaches about. We'll play a really good series, and in the next series we give up a big play. And then we play another really good series and we give up a big play. Or we're playing pretty good defense, and all of a sudden it's fourth down and we don't get a stop on fourth down, or it's third and long and we got a penalty, and we're extending drives, and so we're a play here, a play where away from improving as a defense. So it's things that we've got to continue to work on, and really to me it's just fundamentals. It's working on fundamentals. It's working on assignments. It's working on getting off the blocks, tackling. We faced two really good backs in the last 2 weeks, but if you get in the playoffs, you're going to face really good backs.
I'm glad you said it like that, Coach, because you face some good backs, but like you say, you get in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs because they're all good backs when you get there. Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question before we take our first break. We might come back. We might come back to that in the second break, second half, because I want to give you guys some time. But let me ask you a question. The first two, we try to always stay positive with this show, and that's our goal at all times. So what I'm about to say is not negative, but your first two games, you don't have the penalties. Do you not feel as a team, or you guys not talking about like this was a step backwards, that you just shouldn't be there? I mean, is that the thought, or because your first two games you're not sitting on those kind of penalties, and the flags that's laying all over the field could be the difference in this game totally. Is that a thought within you guys? Is, hey, we might have stepped backward here and we can't afford to do that?
Definitely in the Ringgold game and the Chesapeake game, because it really cost us a few big plays. So I think we went over in our offensive meeting room. It's like 170 yards that were called back for two penalties. Brad's big run, and then we had another big run that was called back because just playing dirty and just playing after the whistle.
After the whistle. You know what? You got to man up sometime. I'm glad you said it like that, but you got to own up to it, and then you can work on it. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching Rebel Wrap Up here at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. Again, we want to thank Blue Jeans Pizza for providing the pizza for the player and coach, and we'll get back and ask these players about this upcoming week against the Andrews Wildcats. Again, I'm your host, BKP. We'll be back after these messages.
Hello, America. The first ever $5 flavor menu is here, and it's a game changer. For just $5 each, you can get a medium one-topping pizza, Wing Street Wings, a Hershey's cookie, and your other Hut favorites. A Pizza Hut pizza for just $5? It's the ultimate crowd pleaser. How are you feeling, crowd?
Very pleased, thank you.
We do what we can here.
$5 for a Pizza Hut pizza. How can we not be pleased?
Good crowd today.
The $5 flavor menu, America's best pizza deal, only at Pizza Hut.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Ellijay.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby.
And we're back. You're watching Rebel Wrap Up here on FYNTV.com. We're at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. Again, thank you to Blue Jeans Pizza for supporting the players and the coach here tonight. Some great pizza if you don't know where it's at, right downtown Blue Ridge, Blue Jeans Pizza. I'm here with head coach Jim Pavo of the Fannin Rebels. Left guard is joining us tonight, Hunter Davis. Defensive end Wesley Lim, and tight end Jacob Reese. We're talking 3A Region 7 football. Fannin will be heading over, the Fannin Rebels will be heading over to take on the Andrews Wildcats. It's not far, 40 minutes tops over there. Not a hard drive, so get together with a group of friends and carpool over and support the Fannin Rebels over there this coming Friday night at 7:30. And it's not a hard field to find. I found it last week. It wasn't hard to find. But there's no, Coach, there's no room on the sideline.
No, it's tight, I heard.
Yeah, that's tight. I mean, you come off that sideline real fast, you bounce off the fence. So anyhow, we're going to be talking. We're talking about last week, and before we get into Andrews, because Coach, I want to hear what you think you see this week prepared for Andrews. But I want to ask you guys this. Now, the coaches, I'm going to say they nicely discussed last week's game, right? Real nicely, right? They nicely discussed the game, right, with you and went over things. But seriously, as a team, you young men, by yourselves, without the coaches, what have you guys been saying to each other? Like, hey, we got to do this or we got to do that. Have you been picking each other up? Have you shaken it off? What are some of the discussions you guys as the players are having?
I mean, in the locker room, we always talk about like how at practice we need to go 100% because you practice how you play how you practice.
Okay.
That's really one big thing we need to do. We need to go 100% every time we get a practice like play because it's really important to improve in practice.
Well, how many yards you brought up before the break? Because you said something that really hit home with me, and we were talking during the break. I feel you have to own it to work on it. If you don't own it, then you don't have something to work on. So play between the whistle, and that can be the difference of finishing the games and finishing where you want to be, because I've heard you guys talk about that. You're going to see Andrews this week. What are you seeing, Coach, on film?
Yeah, Andrews, offensively, they're split back veer.
Yes.
And so you're going to see a lot of two-back formations, split backs, and some option. You're going to see, at times they'll get into the eye and run a little bit of typical eye plays, toss sweep, power, maybe a fullback trap. They throw the ball a little bit, but they're basically a two-back team. And they've got pretty good at running back. I mean they're like us. They're 1-2, and they're probably just like us, hungry for a win and want to get on a winning track because they won their first game just like us, and they've lost their last two. And so we're both in the same situation mentally. We've just got to overcome these hurdles and correct things. But they've got some decent players. They're pretty good at quarterback. They've got You know, the offensive line is decent size, not huge, but decent size, move well. Got a nice tight end. You know, 2 receivers or catch the football and, you know, can run with it. Defensively, they're 3-4, a lot like us. And, you know, so it's one of those situations where we just got to get out there and play. You know, like I say, correct the things that we've been doing wrong. You're not going to play flawless,
right?
But correct the things you're doing wrong, and you know, offensively, move the football consistently, put it in the end zone. Defensively, you know, get stops, get it back to the offense to give them as many opportunities as possible to score, and give them good field position. You know, so that's basically what you're going to see out of them. They're a well-coached team. They're a single A school, so they don't, you know, they've got about 30 kids on the team. So they've got several kids that are going both ways. So, you know, our plan is we've got to kind of outnumber them and basically, you know, wear them down, tire them out, and that's, you know, that's basically the plan. You know, play fast on offense and play physical on defense.
I watched them Friday night. I went over and watched them play Friday night, and they play hard.
Yeah, they do.
They play hard. It's a small squad, but they do play hard.
They play hard. They got some tough kids, and that's why we want. I've seen them on film before, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to play them, because, you know, we had played, you know, we played chess team. We felt that was a 4A school, and that'd be a good test for us. We play in Ringgold. They were a AAA playoff team last year. And then Andrews is a smaller school, but they got a lot of tough kids that play hard. And so I think that'll help us, you know, getting ready for the future. But I also felt that this was a game that if we played well, they got a lot of tough kids, but if we played well, we should win. I mean, and that's the bottom line. You know, if we play well, we should win.
I agree. I agree with that, because the size of the squad in itself, you got more weapons on the sideline. You got more weapons.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from them. I mean, I feel we've got better players. I mean, we've got more, and we've got better players. We're better in the skill position players. We're better in the line positions. They're tough kids. You know, now we got to prove we're tough, not just better players. You know, so this will be a good test for us. We're going to have to be physical, because if not, they're going to take it to us. You know, so I have a lot of respect for their program. Just I've never played against them, but watching them on film, all the teams that they've played, you know, common opponents, and I watched them. I said, hey, this is a good team for us, because it'll be a good test for us, because it is a small school, and you kind of, you know, are you going to go in there and say, well, they're a small school, and we'll just run them over? Or are you going to be a team that says, hey, we're going to go in there and play them hard and get after them, and then, you know, whatever the score is whatever the score is.
Well, you've been coaching long enough that if kid shows up and says, I'm here to play football,
right,
he's there to play football.
That's right.
So you can have it takes 11 to win.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Is they can have 30 on the sideline. We could have 70, but there's only 11 guys on the field.
It takes 11 to win, right? So, and if they showed up to play,
so it's what team shows up to play.
Absolutely. And let me go over a couple quick stats here. Just a couple things in last week's game. In last week's game, Brad Davis was 21 for 38 for 355 yards, and rushing, Hunter Gray was 16 carries for 79 yards. Brad Davis, 15 carries for 66 yards. Brett Galloway, 4 carries for 17 yards. Receiving, Cooper Earls was two receptions for 15 yards. And Cooper Earls, that was Cole Earls, I apologize. Cooper Earls was 9 for 183 yards receiving. Just a couple stats on the night. Again, total receiving yards, 355. We'll go over some defensive stats as soon as we come back. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching Rebel Wrap Up. We're going to take another quick break here, and then we'll wrap up, talk to these young guys about going over to Andrews and what they expect to see Friday night.
Right now at Pizza Hut, you can get any 2 medium pizzas for $6.99 each. Get any toppings, any crust flavor, anything you want for just $6.99 each. And sweeten the deal with a Hershey's Triple Chocolate Brownie for just $5.99. Only at Pizza Hut.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
The summer sell down is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper with huge savings up to 16% off MSRP. Save over $4,100 off Malibu Limited, now just $19,500. Save $9,500 on loaded Silverado Crew Cab LT, now only $38,700. Save up to 16% off MSRP on select new Chevys in stock during the summer sell down. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
And we're back. You're watching Rebel Wrap Up here on FYNTV.com. Again, we're at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. Want to thank Blue Jeans Pizza. Again, that's in downtown Blue Ridge. Blue Jeans Pizza. Here with head coach Jim Pavo, left guard Hunter Davis, defensive end Wesley Lim, and tight end Jacob Reese. Guys, getting ready to go over to Andrews this week. Last week's over with. That's the way we look at it. It's over. You can only work on this Friday night, but we ask this every week, and the guys all know it's coming. We want to know individually, you are a team, but individually when you come off the field, Hunter, what can you do? What are you doing better this week? What are you focusing on yourself personally that you're working on?
I've just been, working on my blocking and stuff like that, and then working on the stuff that I messed up on, just going over in film, and that's just about it.
What about you, Wesley? What did you see when you left the field Friday night? Hey, when the buzzer goes and lights go off the scoreboard, that thing's over. So what'd you leave Friday night saying, hey, I got to get to work on this?
I was looking at film, and I need to fill in my gaps. Whenever I'm playing on the line, I'm given a responsibility. Like, I need to protect the B gap, so I need to go in there and protect it. Can't take one play off, not a single one.
Not take one play off. I like that. Jacob, what about you?
I've been struggling playing inside my emotions. I really let my emotions get the best of me sometimes, and I play inside the whistle sometimes. And I've been working my route running and my blocking. There's always room for improvement on your blocking, so just going 100% in team drills and all that.
So keeping yourself in check.
Yes, sir.
Play the football game. Now, you guys been working for Andrews, coach, like we were talking before we went to break. I watched it Friday night. They play hard, so it doesn't matter when you get there and you only see 30 guys on their side, and you got 70 on yours, 80, whatever you got. So, how many you got on sideline?
Well, we'll travel with about 60, but we got 70 on the roster.
60. So, what are you seeing this week on Andrews? What have you been looking at? What are you seeing this week?
We've just been mostly watching them defensively. They change around a lot, and that's just about it. And watching their blitzes.
What about you? What are you focusing on this week with them?
Well, Andrew's offense, they run up the middle a lot, and they do the options. So my responsibility, I need to hit the dive whenever it comes.
Okay, I like that. And yourself?
I really don't focus on what size school they are, how whatever, single A, double A, it doesn't matter. Offensively, we've been focusing on, they run a cover 3 most of the time, so we're really just gonna, hit their weak spots on their defense.
Well, we wish you well Friday night, and We think, we support you 100%. We wish you well Friday night. Coach, we were talking about Andrews, but are you seeing up to this point in the year with the team, you have 3 games in, are you seeing the adjustments you need to make? Are you seeing the things on film that's getting you where you want to be at this stage of the...
Well, we're working on them. I think right now, if, I feel, and I think the players feel the same as I do, we should have at least 2 wins. That's our feeling, and we should have at least 2 wins, and if we were playing at the level we felt we were capable of, we could really feel we could have 3 wins. And so in that case, it's disappointing, but that's, behind us. And, I talk to kids, we just got to have each other's back and take care of each other and work with each other and encourage each other. And I've seen them do that, and so in that sense, they've played hard, and I talk to them, our guys, we play hard, they play with a lot of heart and a lot of passion. Then now that we've got to correct things, be coachable, and own up. I like that statement of owning up. You can't improve on something if you don't admit you're doing it wrong.
You got to own it.
And so we are doing some things wrong, and we know it. We're not playing our best football. We're going to be playing. We've got to get to where we are playing our best football. And they come to practice every day and work hard, and I appreciate that effort that they give. And I feel like we can continue to improve and get better if they keep the mindset they've had, of improving. We just hit a little bit of, we hit 2 pretty good teams and didn't play really well. We've got to get to a point where we're playing well against good teams. And Andrews will be a good challenge. I mean, it'll be good for us. And you got to go over there. We've got some adversity. We've got some situations where we've got to overcome. Losing 2 games in a row. We got a couple guys hurt. This, that. Just a few things here and there, and we've just got to overcome that. And that's what develops unity in a team and discipline. And that's what we need. We just need a little more discipline.
Well, you're getting ready to go into, we just got a couple minutes here, but you're getting ready to go into region play. And, and something that I have in the past several years following high school football here in North Georgia is you can't say this is non-region. You go to play football regardless. But obviously you're not in the region play yet. But 3A, Region 7, that's a tough region.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're looking at GAC's ranked number 1 or 2. North Hall is ranked 8th in AAA, and Dawson is ranked like 13th. So our first 3 region games are top 15 opponents. So we better be playing good football. And we need to improve because we're going to hit it right. We're going to hit it. We're going to hit the ground. We got to hit the ground running when we get into region play because we're playing 3 of the best teams in the state in AAA. So it's like all of them are like playoff games caliber. They're all playoff caliber games. They're all 3 teams that are probably figuring they're going to be in the playoffs, and a couple of them probably, GAC played into the 4th round last year. Dawson played into the 3rd round last year. North Hall was a 1st round playoff team, but they have a tradition of playing, a couple 3 deep in the playoffs, so they believe that they can do those kind of things. So we've got to improve and improve our discipline fast.
Well, this is a tough region, but you're a good football team, and you're a good football team. I mean, you just rattled those guys off, and you always want to respect the opponent.
Oh yeah.
But you want to beat the opponent.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we're not going.
Respecting them is one thing.
But that's what our guys want. They want to be playing at a high level, and this is opportunity. To play. With Andrews, they're a tough football team. There's no slouches on our schedule. And so every week in and week out, we're playing a good team, and that's you got to beat good teams if you want to be a good team.
Well, guys, we wish you well Friday night. It's time to finish, right? There you go. All right, I'm glad to have you. Welcome back. Coach brings players every week. You have been watching Rebel Wrap Up here every Wednesday night at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. Again, thank you, Blue Jeans Pizza. I'm your host, BKP. And travel over to Andrews. These guys are traveling over there. Won't take you about 40 minutes. Get together, go over, support the team. 7:30, Andrews Wildcats will be hosting the Fannin Rebels, and we'll see you back here next week. FYNTV.com. And don't forget, we come on live every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. We start broadcasting 2 opinion shows. I have a little bit of an opinion on some things. You got to check it out. I'm your host, BKP.